Want to get a job in the game industry? I'm going to show you the 5 things that you need. Hey GBs, I hope that you are having a geek-tastic day. It's Jessica and I'm here to show you how to get your game dev career off the ground. You want to be part of a team that makes the next big game, but game developers only hire the best of the best. So how do you show that you've got the skills? The first thing that you need is a portfolio. Now this is going to be 3 to 5 of your best pieces of work. Don't put in everything that you've done since the 10th grade. What you are also showing is that you have an eye for quality. If I see a portfolio with a ton of work that's all over the place, I'm going to be distracted. I may miss the best part. I'm also going to wonder if they have an eye for quality. If you're having trouble narrowing the field, ask people. Ask your friends, your family, your classmates, people on the street. Just say, hey, what do you like best? Now don't give them a selection of like 100 pieces. Have it narrowed down. But if you can say, hey, which is better, A or B, then people will help you pick your best work that will show off your skill. Now it used to be we'd actually have to print and lug these things around, and that was annoying and pretty expensive, especially if we had to mail these out to a developer in another state. It was inconvenient for them too, because they'd be getting portfolios in, and then what do they do with them? So it was expensive and inconvenient for everybody involved. As with so many things, the internet has made this so much better. And that brings us to the second thing you need. Number 2, you need a website to put your portfolio on. Now, if you're trying to get a professional job, but you're not willing to look like a professional and you cheap out for some sort of free option, then you're not gonna have great luck. So many artists think it's okay to just throw their work on like Blogger or Tumblr or some art specific sites, and that's all they need to do. And if you are amazing, then yeah, maybe it is. But for the rest of us, we need a dedicated website, and it needs to be one where you control the eyeball. You don't want to set up your shop on somebody else's land that you're only renting, because what if they decide to start showing advertisements? That's stealing eyeballs away from your work. You also have to deal with their layouts, which may not be the best to display your skills. So if you're looking for a job at a company who is going to pay you, then you're going to have to shell out a little bit of money now to get professional hosting as well as a unique domain that you can send people to. It'll make you look so much more professional, and it will be so worth it in the long run. Preferably, your domain is going to be yourname.com. If you can't get it, try your middle name, your middle initial. If you have to, use an internet handle, no numbers. Don't use something like thatcoolperson72. This goes for email addresses as well. While you can send people to a Gmail address, it's better if you can send them to something like hello@yourname.com. And definitely don't be sending out emails from an edu email address or sending them to some sort of student portfolio on an edu site. You want them to know that you are a professional ready to go in the industry. Number 3, a resume. It needs to be clear, concise, and above all, relevant. And if you're just starting out, your resume should just be 1 page long, front side only. You want them to be able to scan it quickly. HR representative gets hundreds of these. If your resume looks like it's gonna take a long time to read, they aren't gonna bother. Number 4 is networking. If you are lucky enough to live in a place with a lot of development studios, find out where they hang out. They usually have some sort of organized drink up, or there'll be an IGDA chapter that you can join, which will have a lot of resources for you to follow up on. Get to know the developers on a personal level. Make actual friends. You aren't trying to just up your LinkedIn numbers. That does nobody no good. You want, when a studio has an opening, for that person to say, oh, I know just the person. And you want that person to be you because you've made a real connection, as well as showing them that you have the skills and attitude to be a good member on their team. If you can't network in person, there's always online. There's tons of forums and meetups, and then of course there's always conferences and conventions like GDC, where you can get your face out there and you can meet people that will get you your first spot in the industry. Number 5 is the most important, but probably the most underrated, and that is to apply. You'd think this step would be the obvious one, right? I've talked to so many people who want to get in the industry, and this is the step that stops them. I've also talked to so many educators who bemoan the fact that they have these fantastically skilled students that just won't apply. And these are people who spend a ton of money and time on getting those skills that they need, and then they just give up and apply to several different places. Don't underestimate the mid to small size studios. In fact, you may find out that you like it better. I know I sure did. The projects are usually more varied and interesting, and the team is more tightly knit. The game industry is not easy to get into, and it's a sad fact that you may be perfectly suited to the job, but just due to the number of applicants, your voice is lost in the crowd. So make sure you stay on that radar. If you want my guide to the 5 biggest portfolio mistakes, be sure to follow the link in the description below. What's been your biggest question on how to get a job in the game industry? Let me know in the comments below. That's it for today, GBs. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you showing up and getting your geek on. Make sure to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode as we dive deeper into building your game dev career. I'll see you next video. Let's make games.